Hey everyone, welcome to the Mischievous crew once again, showing off some exciting new mechanics and fun stuff for the Dawnguard expansion for the Skyrim adventure game. And I'm joined by the wonderful Juan and Stefano tonight, the two of the co-designers alongside Javier. And
Hello.
They're going to be talking through vampirism and the Dawnguard and all sorts of exciting things that you can do in this expansion. So we're going to jump across to Tabletop Simulator. Remember, everyone, this is completely free for you to get access to. Doesn't include Dawnguard yet. This is a special version that only we've got access to, just to demonstrate some of the components tonight. So we're going to go in and have a look at the game. We've added in some new parts from the Dawnguard expansion. So first of all, guys, why don't you tell us about the story, because this is a whole third campaign consisting of 3 chapters, which carries on. Where does it carry on from? Because I know at the end of the base game, the clock's wound forward. You're kind of around the time of the Dragonborn, aren't you?
Yes, at the end of the base game, you are slightly after the origin of the Dragonborn. This goes immediately after that. So we could say that this story is contemporary to the Dragonborn story of the video game. The characters end the second campaign in a very tight spot. It's an ending. It's a finale. We're not going to spoil anything, but something happens to them. Something mysterious, something special that I am not going to talk about. I promised I would not mention that. And they find themselves once more trying to save the world in a way. It's not exactly that, but trying to save the world. What we can say is that the Daedric Prince Boethia is very involved in this. You may have seen in the crowdfunder page the miniatures and the tokens for the Boethia's Chosen. Those are from this story. So they find themselves new to the world, and they get the assistance of our dear friends, the Vigilants of Stendar. You may have heard about them. They appear randomly on the roads of Skyrim, asking you about Daedric entities because they fight them. And at some point during their adventures, they get the choice of either becoming vampires or helping the Dawnguard. I heard them reforming the Dawnguard, vampire hunters or something. I might join myself. You know, that guard that talks to you. So you get that choice of becoming a vampire or becoming a part of the Dawnguard. And that's when things start getting thicker. That's in Chapter 2 of the campaign, and we're going to show a few components that match with Chapter 2, which is when you can see actually everything in motion, the big explosion of vampires, blood, Dawnguard, crossbows, all of that.
Armored trolls.
Armored trolls.
Oh yeah, armored trolls. Cool. So, let's have a look at the board, and we're going to kind of talk through, because there's several levels of detail here. There's the new locations that we've got that we can go to on the board. We've got the new powers that you've got access to, and what those locations can do for you. There's a new gear like crossbows, new spells or powers, and then there's the wider kind of conflict between the Dawnguard and Castle Volkihar. So let's have a look at the map, because we've added 2 new locations which are in the form of die cut templates that go onto the board and add Castle Volkihar and the Dawnguard. So where have we added those? Let's have a look at the map and see where they go.
So Castle Volkihar towards the north, just out of the coast of Hafingr region, and this will be added from in this position. Sorry.
Let's have a close-up look at that. So this is effectively a new stronghold you can go to.
Yes. So both of the 2 new locations, Castle Volkihar and Fort Dawnguard, acts as a new stronghold that only the players of that specific faction can go and interact in a friendly way. People from the vampire faction, they'll be able to go to Castle Volkihar. There they will be able to get new quests or use them as they use any other strongholds, so they can upgrade and enchant their gears. And at the same time, people from the Fort Dawnguard, they will be able to do the same at their stronghold, and also acquire specific gear only for the Dawnguard players. So each one has a bit of asymmetrical functions. The most important thing is that at these two locations, you will find new characters that will basically they will give you their quests specifically for that faction storyline.
A bit like a normal stronghold where you can take a town card, you can effectively take, I guess, a Castle Volkihar card or a Dawnguard card. Okay, well, let's look at the actual locations themselves. We've got just down below the table, or below the board itself, we've got an example, well, the cards for each location. Let's have a look at the Dawnguard themselves. Now, this isn't just a stronghold. There's actually something more going on here. Let's have a close-up look at that Dawnguard card, and if you can take us through.
Yes, absolutely. So for Dawnguard, especially with the 4 Dawnguard card, we added the idea that it's possible to level up your own fort. So the players will have the chance to spend their own XP when they gain it to improve their castle. So they can decide to sacrifice some of their XP to put it on the castle. So they will just put the XP token on their on the card, and when they reach 7, as they do when they level up, they will remove that, and they will move the marker from position 0 to positions to the second position, and the same for the second, the third, and the fourth. And this will give the bonus that you see in the roll. So at the beginning, people will be able just to acquire follower number 540, which is the Dawnguard recruit, and buy crossbow. So you still already have some benefit, some new cool gears that you can do. But the more you improve, the more you'll be able to acquire Dawnguard armor, heavy or light, and different followers, and different crossbow, and bolts, etc., etc. And so it's in the interest of the players to increase and to level up their own fort.
Yeah, and so one thing, you can't usually go and find followers without it being part of a quest. So this is quite interesting that you can actually go and pick a follower through this.
Absolutely, you can just go there and recruit them, and you just use them as you would usually use a follower, but you don't have to find them. Being part of the Dawnguard gives you some benefit.
Yeah. Okay. Great. Now, if I'm, let's say I'm an Imperial who's joined the Dawnguard, I go there, and on my turn, just like the normal strongholds, I can do all sorts of things. So looks like I could buy a crossbow, and I could take follower 540. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
Do you want to take a look at your new follower and your new crossbow?
Yeah, let's do this. Who do I get? Because I don't think we've showed it. Yeah.
There you go. And I think this is a crossbow. Yes, a crossbow. Yep. The interesting thing about the crossbows, if you have played the Dawnguard in the video game, you know that they work the other way around as the bows. The bows, you take a while to aim, and then you shoot. The crossbows are instantaneous, and then it takes a while to reload. They have a similar mechanic here with the quick shoot that that's equivalent of the aim action, only this one costs no stamina. So it's fast, done, but it's only once per combat.
Yeah. But then your normal shots, bit more stamina, bit harder to get, but more damage.
Much more damage with the regular shoot. So it's the reverse of the bows, where the aim is the one that deals a lot of damage, but it's only once. Here, the one that's only once doesn't deal much damage because you shoot you can scramble to shoot. The other one deals a lot of damage, but it costs a lot of stamina. It's harder to hit.
And I can see you've got this special ability on this crossbow, so you gain an extra point of damage if the armor doesn't match the damage. So if I'm doing 3 red and the enemy's 2 yellow armor, I'm actually doing 4 red. Is that right?
Yes, it's quite brutal.
Exactly.
And we've actually not really talked about followers yet. And followers is, of course, we've hinted at, there's all sorts of Easter eggs for interesting characters like Mjol, when she used to be an adventurer that you can gain. How do followers work?
Okay, that's an interesting question.
I'll take this one if you don't mind, Juan.
You take it, please.
So you have the chance to have as many followers as you want in the game. You're not tied to have only one. However, you can bring only one in battle. So the moment you start an encounter, either be an encounter around like a roaming monster or a quest encounter, or in a dungeon, decide which of your own follower you want to use. And you will just decide, you assign, I want to use my Dawnguard recruit. So after the enemy die has been rolled and the enemy die has been resolved, the follower will roll exactly the same die. So they roll the red die, the enemy die, and they will do the damage. So they will follow exactly the same structure as the enemy does.
Okay,
so in this case, if you obtain a skull or a knife or a blade, they will do 2 red damage.
Okay, right. So that happens. They attack straight after the enemy attacks, and then we get to attack as normal. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. And can they be killed? A follower?
They cannot be killed in combat.
Right.
That's very diplomatic, Stefano.
I know.
I'm bringing another follower here so you can see the difference between 2 different followers. This is from the core games. So
there is a question on the chat on Facebook. So, can we assign tokens to Volkiar like other big cities? Like in terms of degrading, no, the 2 new fort cannot be degraded, but there is a sort of, that we're something we will touch on later. There will be a sort of faction. Let's call it a slight subtle PvP. So there is already a sort of one faction getting advantage on the others, but there is no chance to degrade the city per se.
I just noticed an interesting little Easter egg there. That second follower you pulled out, Uglin.
Yeah,
he's the guy that's in the chapter 1. He's trying to hire you to get help to fight the vampires, and now he's a vampire.
Yeah, well, in this case, it's a vampire apparently, but it shouldn't be.
Yeah. Okay, so we're still updating the pictures. Of course, this is a Dawnguard card. So
yeah, I brought a normal one so we could compare followers.
We see. Okay, fine. Okay, so he's a normal follower. Yeah, so that's interesting of where he can do different things. He might even heal you for a point.
It can even, if you hire mercenaries, they can take your money while they fight. They can refuse to fight until you pay them. So they're pretty much, very capitalistic, some of them, which is kind of fun.
Okay, so we've done followers, we've done crossbows, so we've got the interesting access, and you've talked about how you can level up. So as you're spending XP, instead of spending it on yourself, if you spend it on the Fort Dawnguard, you're getting access to cooler and cooler gear and more powerful followers.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay, so why don't we, I know there's lots of people going to be asking about vampires, so tell us, how do you become a vampire? Or how do you join the Dawnguard? Is it do I just go there and go, hey, I want to bite me, I'm ready, or I'm ready to take up arms? Like, how does it happen?
I'll take this one, Stefano. Basically,
you like vampires.
I like vampires, of course. Yeah, that's my thing. It's a story-driven choice. At some point in the story, you're given the choice of becoming a vampire, and if you don't become a vampire, the logical solution is to join the Dawnguard. The story moves you there. The interesting thing here is that if you're playing a 4-player game and everybody wants to be a vampire, I wouldn't be surprised if that happened often, because vampires are amazing. You can still play. It's great. A game with all vampires. And if the other way around happens and everybody wants to be a Dawnguard member, well, okay, you can all be Dawnguard members and vampires. I will hate you, but you can do that. It's absolutely fine. Even 3 against 1, 2 against 1, all the combinations work. It's not about having to be 2 vampires to Dawnguard. It's not strict in that sense.
Great. Okay, cool. So it's interesting. So your choices are going to affect the end of the game, really, and how that kind of whole complex.
They affect everything in the game. They can change completely the gameplay, massively. Yeah, the vampires have a few differences from the Dawnguard. If you want, we can go there.
Okay, yeah, let's go there. Let's show us how cool being a vampire is. So you get vampirism access. Well, also let's talk us through Castle Volkihar first. What does Castle Volkihar do?
Castle Volkihar is similar to Port Dawnguard, but it doesn't give you followers. It doesn't give you equipment. It doesn't give you anything like that, and you cannot level it up. What it's there for, it works as a stronghold. You have your people there that you can visit to get new quests, and also it lets you buffer out your hunger, which is a new mechanic, which is pretty important. As you play, your hunger will increase, and unless you are in a safe place, aka for Castle Volkihar, you will start damaging the world around you. In Castle Volkihar, at least you can feed and say, "Okay, I'm fine." If you're okay with wreaking havoc, that you will not need to go there. But generally speaking, you would need to go there.
Let's look at that vampirism card. Tell us how vampirism works then.
Okay, vampirism as for Dawnguard has levels, but each player has their own vampirism card. Let me grab this threat token here. You trap
Sounds
vampirism with threat. Vampires are very close to threat always. Okay, here it is. This increases as you get hungry. You get hungry every time you are the starting player. Simple as that.
Yeah. So that level
And
moves up. That gives you access to more things, doesn't it?
the hungrier you are, you gain passive armor in some levels. You gain new spells and powers. You gain new abilities, and also you gain new weaknesses. For
So
example,
let's
by default,
okay, example, yeah.
you don't regenerate health at the end of your turn with your vampire if it's daytime. Oh, I mentioned daytime. Oh, there's something new there. Then you don't regenerate stamina or magicka, so you can go around crawling your way through the world with a very low tracks. Stamina, magicka, health, they can be really low. And at the highest levels, you cannot even explore strongholds because they don't let you in because you're a monster. So you need to feed.
That third level, we can see vampire seduction. Once per game turn, the enemy doesn't attack this combat round. That's pretty good in a dungeon,
Yeah.
right? And you get plus all your damage, but you can't explore a wilderness space. And then at the top level, you get an extra yellow armor. Now, is all this? Is it all on top of each other? So it's all the effects from the previous levels, or is it just the effects on this line that you need to worry about?
It all goes together. Never mess with a starving vampire. They're very dangerous.
Well, fourth level's hunger, you've got an extra point of magic armor and light armor, yellow armor. You've got looks like +2 to strength. You can't go into strongholds. You can't go into the wilderness. You don't regenerate any of your stamina and magicka doing the encounter, or your health at the end of the encounter. So, but you're doing a lot of damage, and you've got a lot of abilities. So now, what happens when you get to where can you go from there?
Once you get to the highest level, if you get more hunger, you feed automatically. So that means that there are four threat tokens that are going to go into the world. One can go to quests. One needs to go to the stronghold chart. One will go to a new thing that we have, which is to the board. Wherever you are, you drop a threat token. Let's say you're here in Falkreath. You put a threat token there. Next player who walks to that threat will take the threat. So you can end up with a board full of threat if you're not careful. And the last threat... Sorry?
I was going to say, when the person walks through the threat, what does that mean? Do they basically have to take it and then assign it somewhere?
If Stefano here was to move from here, 1, 2, 3, 4, this threat goes for any of Stefano's quests.
Right,
So it can be quite a lot. And the last threat, which is the fun one, goes here to the threat event deck.
Okay, so now this is where we zoom out a bit, because I remember when I rescued Serana, the vampire, from that tomb, and then I went to Fort Dawnguard as part of my mission, and they're all freaking out, going, "You've got a vampire with you." You know, I'm like, "No, it's fine. She's okay. She's with me. Don't worry." And then of course we went off to Castle Volkihar for dinner, and that went well. But so clearly you can be working together in this game, right? You might be vampires and you might be the humans, but you are on this big quest, aren't you, as well?
Yeah, you have to work together. There is a threat that in a way go beyond you belonging to one faction or another, and you'll have to sometimes work against it to gain let's say an advantage for your own faction, but at the end the game will always be to resolve together the biggest threat.
Okay. And so then tell us about threat events. So this is where the kind of game gets a bit strategic, that you're having an impact on the world. Talk us through how this works.
Yeah, so threat event is a new type of event that, let's say, the vampire tend to have a bit more of control on this event. So most of the time, the vampire would want to put this threat event in the basic event deck. So what will happen? Several mechanics in the game will allow threat to be added to the top card of the threat event deck. As Juan said, in case a vampire needs to feed, part of the threat will be assigned to these cards. Other cards like quest cards, or sometimes we'll have the chance to voluntarily assign more threat to the threat event deck. When the threat reaches the threshold that is written on the card, so in this case it's 4, that card will be put, if I remember correctly, within the first 3. Actually, I think it's on the top, right?
It goes on top.
Yeah, it goes exactly on top, and that will be the next event that will happen. Most of the time, these cards are beneficial for the vampire, and the higher the threat, the most dangerous or the most impactful will be for the game. So we have 4, 2, 3, etc., etc. There are some cards, however, which have a 0 level of threat, and those cards will be automatically put on top. Sorry?
So let's look at an example of this card. What does this?
Yeah,
so this is vampires, right? This isn't for Dawnguard. This is vampires get to put their threat on these cards.
These are good for vampires. These are good for vampires. Yeah. Dawnguard don't want them to be on the deck.
No. When I get threats from an event card as first player, can I choose to put the threat on this card, not in the world?
No, only in special circumstances like feeding and when instructed by another card. It's not the threat that you can put randomly. But look at that card that you just flipped. Look at the difference between the Dawnguard and the vampire players. The Dawnguard moves the player figure for Dawnguard, whilst the vampires can choose to move to Castle Volkihar, and on top of that, they gain money. So whoever draws this card as starting player, if it's Dawnguard, they have a problem. Like, now I have to move there? Oh, come on. And if it's a vampire, they have a bonus.
Yeah.
But the interesting thing is when you get to the 0 cards. I think those are the fun ones.
Let's show
we have. Yes, here are. So when it happens that the moment, let's say I have this 5 threat event and the vampires manage to put all 5, they will be very happy because they will put the number 5 there. However, if underneath there is a 0, this will be automatically be put on top. So that will become the first card to go on the event deck. And this is always beneficial for the Dawnguard.
Okay.
So in these cases, this will become an active event, and all Dawnguard player will be moved 2 additional spaces. So let's say the vampire can push their luck trying to put as many threat events on the event deck, but sooner or later, one beneficial for the Dawnguard will appear. And
not all in favor. I can imagine some people thinking, "Wait a minute, this is all in favor of the vampires," but it's not all. Doesn't everything?
No. It is.
There are some cards in the middle that are bad for vampires.
Yeah.
And what's the goal of? Because we're talking about there is this kind of competition, this sort of challenge between Dawnguard and Volkihar. Like, tell us a little. We don't want to know all the secrets, but where are you going with Dawnguard? What is the goal in the storyline? Are you trying to destroy the other castle? Are you trying to weaken their faction? Where are we heading with that?
And there's something interesting, if we can talk from the narrative perspective, that the players constitute a third faction, a de facto third faction. Their disagreement between the players is not so much about whether people should be vampires or whether people should be Dawnguard or whether vampires are bad. It's more about how to get rid of the big menace. Some players believe that it's using the nuclear option, whilst other players can believe it's more of a diplomatic approach. And that divide is what puts them in different factions. The vampire players are helping Lord Harkon because it's good for them right now to achieve the goal through the way they think it's the correct one. And the Dawnguard players follow the doctrine of the Dawnguard and hunt vampires because they think that's the way to finish the big threat. But at some point, the paths merge and they realize, okay, no matter the way we take, the path we take, we have to get rid of this menace that's it's basically testing their own souls. If they lose in this big battle, they are doomed for eternity. So it's a big one. It's not just talking about economic problems. It's much more serious. So the big disagreement between players is how do we tackle this big menace? And that kind of disagreement leads to an internal war of sorts. But they are a third faction, even though the people in Dawnguard and Castle Volkihar don't know that they are, confabulating with each other in a way.
Yeah, okay. And I saw someone, Elthorn, in YouTube chat said,
It's
will we
not-
be able to use
yeah.
the Dawnguard and Vampire factions in the free roam mode? I'm guessing, like, would you be able to use vampirism in free roam mode?
We definitely need to work on that to make sure that you can use it and it's feasible. It can unbalance things, but it's free roam, so it's more a matter of taste on how the table wants to play it. But we need to make sure that that's possible because it can be really fun.
Okay,
Yeah.
great.
We'll try to make sure that the mechanics are implemented, but of course, being a free roam, there will be the quest line. Of course, will not be there because that will be following the main story of this one.
We can
Right,
talk
okay.
about day and night. It's an interesting mechanic that we haven't
Yeah, let's-
explored
yeah.
before. You see
Yeah.
this round token here? Yeah, this is the day and night token. If you flip it, oh, it's night. Some event cards that we don't have any here because the event cards that we have in this demo don't represent that. Most event cards in the Dawnguard campaign ask you to flip this token. When you flip this token, it goes from day to night, from night to day.
That has an
The
effect.
day-
I can see.
Yeah, it's
got,
written
like-
on them.
So let's just close in on that counter so we can see it up close for everyone. Can we close in? There we go. So during the day, you gain +1 hunger, so your hunger level's going up. Yeah.
Yeah, that affects everybody. And the fun stuff is that during the night, you gain +1 sneak for combat. So everybody at night is more sneaky.
Right.
So
And but that's
Khajiits
only
love the
vampire.
night.
That's
Everybody.
only vampire.
That affects the world,
Everybody.
not only vampires. That's
I
a
see.
condition for the whole world. And
In a sense-
furthermore,
Yeah.
yeah, it's an overlying condition. Yes, there are quests in the game that can only be completed during day or night. This ties in very well with what Stefano was explaining about the threat events, because as you can see, the threat events do not have any icon that tells you flip day or night. No, they keep day or night. They stay in the same place. So vampires can calculate, so they can create a longer night, which is what Lord Harkon wants. Or they can actually mess everything up because they go too hungry and end up having a very long day, which is very bad for them.
All the people who know they're going to be playing Khajiits are just like rubbing their hands together.
That's how it works. We know. Yeah. We're missing our official Khajiit player here, but Javier will be he's very happy with the night
having
mechanics.
fun of playing Sneak and Khajiit, right?
Yeah.
Great. Okay. So, is there anything we've not talked about with? We haven't looked at this. Let's have a look at the vampire powers. Those 2 spells.
Oh yes, they're fun. They're here.
Right.
Yeah, these 2 spells you gain them automatically as your hunger increases, and you can equip them at any point. You have Vampiric Drain and Vampiric Servant. As you can see, there's no skill attached to them. They're just what they are. It's a skill, and that's it. The Vampiric Drain, which is the base one, heals you. Which you say it's healing 1. It's okay. It damages and heals 1, but when you keep in consideration that the vampires don't heal during the day, this becomes a must.
Yeah.
I'm going to draw your attention again to the Vampirism card, because that has a synergy with the ability Champion of the Night. Whenever a vampire uses an illusion spell, they regenerate 2 stamina and magicka. So you can drain and then cast an illusion spell, so you can regenerate your things that have been drained during the day. That's how
You really
you're
want
playing it.
as
Yes,
a-
illusion is very useful for vampires.
Okay. And notice the other card lets you summon. The
It's a
vampire
very
spell,
simple summoning card. Yep.
so that lets you bring in other creatures to help you.
And
Kind of
undead
like
specifically.
well, in the battle. Yeah.
Yeah, in the core game, there's already some conjuration spells, but this is an automatic spell that you gain, and you don't have to roll anything. You don't need to have a skill. It's like, yeah, you do it. You cost 1 magicka. Easy.
Great. Okay. Brilliant. Well, look, thanks, guys. I mean, I think this we're going to get into Dawnguard in a bit more detail over time, but this hopefully gives everyone a bit of an insight into what you can expect from this campaign. But this isn't. I mean, there's a lot more in the box, isn't there? Do you want to just walk us through all the other stuff that's in the box? Because there's locations and gear and stuff. Just give us a very brief overview. Because there's 4 more characters in the box, isn't there?
Oh, yes.
Yeah, there are
Yeah.
4. There are 4 more characters. So to have like the complete set of all the types, of all the 10 types, and of course all the characters can be used for the core. You don't have to use some for Dawnguard and the other for the core. You can can mix
Yeah.
mix them with no problem.
And that's
We have
the-
Argonians.
Argonians. We finally have
And
Argonians.
Red Guard and Wood Elf. So
And the wolf, yeah.
yeah. And so I mean, just looking through the component, there's a nice pretty picture on the game fan page with all the contents. There's like 30 more event cards alongside the 21 threat cards. So that's quite a big upgrade of events that can impact your world, isn't it?
Yeah, and they use the day-night mechanic, and they're focused on the story of Dawnguard. So they have lots of synergies with the things you have seen here.
Yeah. And there's a whole bunch more encounter cards, which are the different types of characters you can encounter, 25 different followers, which I guess like the Dawnguard recruits. There's another 74 pieces of equipment. Like, what have you guys put in there that we haven't seen already?
There is a lot. We have a new type of equipment that's the bolts that somebody asked in the game fan page about arrows. We have bolts here instead of arrows that allow you to spend your ore to increase your damage. I don't know if we have imported any bolts to this demo. Haha, Stefan, it's already on it. But you can equip them as a trinket, and basically you spend 1 ore and your damage increases by X depending on the quality of the bolt. So in situations where you think, I could kill this guy in one go, why am I spending my time? Take 1 ore. That helps a lot. That really helps a lot. We have new spells. We have a lot of equipment.
We have new armors. We have the Dawnguard armor, light and the heavy.
So cool. Yeah, it's so cool.
Yeah.
So yeah, we have new quests, obviously, an entire storyline, and of course we have these cards, which are the people that you will encounter in the two forts. So in this case, this the Fort Dawnguard encounter and the Castle Volkiar encounter.
And those are the beginnings of a whole set of more personal quests.
Yes, they give you faction quests that are personal quests, basically. Yeah. And they help the faction. And there's something else that we have 2 new locations. You can come over here. We have 2 new locations. Oh no, we have 3 new locations because this is around here at the beginning. Where's the wilderness? It's here? Or is it here? Here, I found it.
Yes,
yeah. So it goes somewhere around here. Yeah.
There we go.
So in the first chapter, you also have this location. So yeah, another new location. That then disappears. If you have gone through that storyline in Skyrim, you know what happens to the Hallway Vigilant. If you do, don't tell anybody. Secret, please. And the new characters, if you want to focus on them for a second, they have different mechanics from the other ones. For example, the Breton is the only character whose innate ability is not triggered once per turn, but it's something that's permanent. Every time they get hurt by magic damage, they regenerate magicka. So they have a different approach. You have the best archer in the game, the Wood Elf. That's also a factory of components. Each one of them has their own things. The Argonian keeps on regenerating things all the time. It's very good at regenerating their own tracks. And the Red Guard, as a melee character, it's not fearsome. It's terrifying. It's really good. It's really good. Yeah.
It's going to be hard to choose between once you've got them all. And there's a whole bunch.
A Wood Elf with a crossbow is quite a powerful.
Yeah, it's quite a lot.
Okay.
Yes.
Wood Elf Dawnguard then. Sounds like the one. And there's a whole bunch more status cards. What kind of statuses, what sort of trouble are you going to be getting yourselves into?
That is a good question, and I have to check my notes. Got me here, Chris. Why did you ask me that? That's such a question.
I saw while we're just doing Mid Marco asked, do you add an extra hunger each time you normally get hunger, or you just temporarily have +1 hunger until it becomes night? No, I think
you gain. You gain. Keeps on claiming until you feed.
At some point, it triggers you to feed. Yeah.
Well, while Juan is searching for the title, I can say that we have new monsters, new dungeon.
Please. The spawning
dungeon
thing.
encounters. We have a new deck which is called the spawning deck, which is a new set of cards that will be added through the gameplay to the dungeon decks, and it will make it even more dangerous. And that will be for both. So both Vampire and Dawnguard will have to face them, and they're quite. We had a lot of fun creating them, so they're quite terrifying.
Yeah, if Stefano says fun, it means challenging. That's his modus operandi.
Well, I've fun.
Challenge cards, which obviously tell you what you're going to face. And I did want to cover, because obviously in the chapter 1 that people can see in Tabletop Simulator, there's only 2 encounters per dungeon, but I know there's more sometimes, isn't there? Like some of the levels have a lot more encounters.
Yes, sometimes you face 2 rooms, one room with 2 encounters at the same time, another room with 1 encounter, or even one single room with 3 encounters at the same time, which is quite challenging.
Man, do they all attack you, or I think I remember that you roll the dice once and you get that effect. Is that right?
Yeah. So the way it works is if you encounter more than 1 card in a single encounter, first of all you need to align them from left to right according to how is the dungeon or the quest in this case. And then when they attack, you roll the dice, and starting from the left, you search if that symbol is on the card on the first card. If it's not, you check the second, and then the third, and then the fourth, depending.
Right.
And if that symbol is in no card, then that's a miss. That's very rare, almost impossible to happen. If you encounter that symbol, that is the first attack that you receive. So if the first card has the axe, for example, and you roll the axe, you take that attack. If the second card has the axe and not the first, you will take the attack from the second card. And of course, this is creating a way to create a narrative of combat.
But do you stop the attacks once the first encounter has?
You stop at the first and then you see, and you have to attack from the card on your left, so you have to attack at the first. So you have that card, then remove it, and then start and go for the next one.
You have to so you have to defeat the one on the left. You can't just go I can attack this guy, he's easier.
No, it's like you have let's say the bodyguards of the boss going in front of you and defending him, and you have to go through the small bodyguards before getting to the big boss.
Yeah. Great. Okay. Look, I think we've covered up tonight. Thanks, guys, for taking part. We've got more streams coming later this week. I'm doing a Chris Plays Skyrim 5 o'clock on Thursday and Friday. I'm starting with the Nord, and I'm going hard to see how far I can take it. How long can I play without completing the main quest? Just to show you, I did a game with Danny ESO last week, and we played for 2.5 hours, and we were still properly distracted, and I think we could have played at least another hour before we finished the game. So I'm kind of intrigued.
Chris, are you playing solo?
I'm playing solo, yeah. It's going to be hard, but Skyrim's going to burn, man. Like there's going to be nothing left.
You madman. That's very good.
So we'll see though. Anyway, it's going to be fun, and so everyone can tune in and just and I'll go through the rules again for people and hopefully get it right. So great. All right, guys. Well, look, thanks for tuning in. You'll be able to watch this again in detail later. Hang out with us on Thursday and Friday, and if I can keep going, I'll be doing it the following Thursday and Friday. And there's a whole bunch of new videos dropped today. I know Mark Street from Dice Tower has posted a preview again today, and there's more coming out. So do check our updates. And looks like we're very close to unlocking the free roaming mode. So probably next week, I think we'll do, or at some point in the next week, we'll do a little stream, and just you guys can talk about how free roaming mode is going to work, and how on earth are you going to have 8 people playing this game, because that sounds insane. Like the 5 to 8 player add-on that we've got coming. I think everyone's minds are being blown about that. So yes. I know personally I've had to play Imperial Assault with 7 players at one point, and Zombie Side with 8 or 9 players, and it's just chaos. So
just to remember it. just to remember those games. That's important.
Yeah, it's crazy and cool. So we'll come back to that and talk about it in more detail. But thanks everyone for tuning in. That's it for today, and see you in Skyrim soon.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank you.
Before the Dragonborn came to Skyrim, you are surviving members of the Blades, a legendary group who long protected the Empire of Tamriel. Abandoned by the Empire, you must work together to thwart a plot which threatens the whole of Skyrim. character in the world of the Elder Scrolls. Choose between Enor, Dunmer, Imperial, Altmer, Khajiit, or Orsimer. Equip your character with a wide range of weapons, spells, and armor. Travel across the halls of Skyrim to places like Riften, Solitude, Falkreath, and Whiterun. Attempt the huge range of evolving quests that change the game with each decision. Explore the wilderness. Gain side quests from mysterious characters. Explore ancient ruins and tombs. Battle Draugr, frostbite spiders, and Daedra. As you delve deeper, your foes become increasingly deadly. Gain experience and amazing treasures. Upgrade and enchant your gear. Level up your character with a wide range of unique skills and abilities. Play through 6 chapters of 2 huge campaigns in this endlessly replayable adventure game. The Elder Scrolls Skyrim, the adventure game. On GameFound now.